Good evening and welcome to Inside Jefferson Football, your weekly look inside the Jaguars football program. My name is Josh Powers. Coming up on this edition of Inside Jefferson Football, we'll talk to the head coach, Tim Carlson, about last week's game against St. Louis Park. We'll also look ahead to the Jaguars coming back home this Friday to play Apple Valley. In the players segment, we'll sit down with a couple of the Jaguars seniors, Quee Long and Brock Edwards. In the Where Are They Now segment, we catch up with 1994 Jaguar football captain Mike Wagner. But first, the head coach, Tim Carlson. Coach, what a thrilling game on Friday. Unfortunately, overtime, St. Louis Park comes away with the win, but I thought your team did a lot of great things on the road. You led for a large portion of that second half and made some critical plays at big times, but give St. Louis Park credit, too. Thought they did some things down the stretch, and it was just enough to get the win there at home.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a good high school football game, entertaining. I hated it at the end and haven't slept much since, but you're right. Credit to them. They have a very good quarterback, very mobile, throws the ball well, runs hard. They had a nice big running back that helped them. We were down at the half, came back, kids fought back, got a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter. But again, credit to them. We made some mistakes on special teams and some coverage stuff, kind of running out of our lanes. Too many missed tackles all around for the evening. But in the end, they made just enough plays to eke one out. And again, you're right. Credit to them for doing that. But it was fun. A lot of good things did happen. You're absolutely right. Some players got better this week, and hopefully we can take that going forward.
A big game on the ground for Aiden, goes over 100 yards. You got the ground game going. I thought it was pretty consistent when you needed it to all night.
Yeah, we feel good about. We have Aiden who does a good job and Brock who comes in. They're two very different runners, two very different styles, the whole thunder and lightning kind of thing, style of going. And we can throw some other guys in there. Senior Ty Sambugaro may get a little bit more this week, and we have a sophomore Mal Sorensen, who's more similar to Aiden. So we have some running back depth, which is good because they both play, Brock and Aiden both play on defense as well. But yeah, it was a good night all the way around. We wanted to establish run. I think I may even mentioned that last week's show, that we wanted to run the ball better, and we did. Didn't throw it as well. So, we're still getting better all the way around.
Well, take a look at the highlights. You also got a defensive touchdown, which we'll get to here. This puts you guys into the lead here. Just a great play to read this throw.
Yeah, we call this a caused interception. We are in man coverage. Frank Arth is on man on the tight end, but you see Isaac Sevig, the defensive end, gets in the quarterback's face and forces him to jump backwards and kind of jump throw while going backwards, which makes him inaccurate, and Frank's covering his guy, and that was fun. That was exciting. I was happy for Frank. He's an extremely hard worker, does a lot of really good things for us. So, yeah, that was a great turning point in the game.
You extended the lead second half, Coach. You did get 2 touchdown passes through the air. Really a great hookup here. Nate Habermas really does a nice job of high-pointing this football in the end zone.
Yeah, we run enough bubble. You can see the inside receiver bubbles, and hopefully they bite on it a little bit, and we throw the fade to Nate, who is about 6'7". So hopefully we can continue to take advantage of that, and we thought we did later in the game, but called back. But yeah, that was a nice throw by Robbie Traylor. We showed that bubble look, and Nate was able to get behind him a little bit.
This is one of those games where you look back and 1 of 20 plays goes one way or the other, and the result is different. Here, you mentioned their quarterback, Dvorak, did just enough sneaky athleticism. Here he makes a big first down late in the game as you guys were up by 7 to kind of keep this drive alive, and then they would punch it in to tie a couple plays later.
Yeah, we get good pressure, no holding down here below at all, but again, he's a good athlete, and 2 years ago it was Aaron Ellingson they had back there, another good athlete who's now at the Bethel University, by the way, but it's very similar in how they played, and things not open, they start to run, and they're very athletic, and Will made plays for him all night long. He ran through tackles, made some really nice throws when he needed to. He's a good player.
You get this game into overtime, Coach. You get the ball first with the toss, and it looks like you have a touchdown. Unfortunately, they do call holding on this play and it's called back.
Yeah, because of a 15-yard penalty at the end, last play of the game, we got to start 1st and goal. We go backwards on a run, come back to a fade to Nate. Little bit of holding. I won't disagree with that call. That's a very, it was a good call. And unfortunately, then you have to come back from that. It puts us in a hole. Obviously, going 10 yards the wrong way puts us in a hole, but we have to be able to kind of bounce back. I think the penalty kind of changed the thinking with the kids and the momentum there a little bit. But we have to learn to bounce back from that. Okay, what's next? Let's get some yardage back and score on the next play.
And speaking of bouncing back, last question for you before the break. But this week, a tough loss on Friday. But you've got a critical opponent in a kind of a rival school in Apple Valley, close in proximity to Bloomington. I'm sure it helps to get back in that game week and get things focused towards Apple Valley on Friday.
Absolutely. We've had a lot of good games over the last few years with Apple Valley, two very evenly matched teams. Even though we're two very different style teams, they're kind of the big and plodding kind of guys, and we're the smaller, fast teams. And we've had some really good games, some overtime games, and we're looking forward to Friday night. It's remember our Heroes Week at school, so we'll be raising some money and kind of learn big picture stuff throughout the week too.
All right, we'll talk more about the game against Apple Valley in our final segment, all right?
Sounds good.
All right, that's head coach Tim Carlson. Coming up next in the player segment, we'll talk to a couple of the key Jaguar seniors. That's when Inside Jefferson football continues. Back on Inside Jefferson football, the Jaguars back home this week. We'll have it for you on Friday night as the Jaguars take on the Apple Valley Eagles. 7 o'clock, head on out to Bloomington Stadium. Let's pack Bloomington Stadium and cheer on the Jaguars for victory on Friday. A couple of the Jaguar seniors join me now. Quee Long, Brock Edwards. Appreciate the time, guys.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
All right, Quee, we'll start with you just because you're on the left there. It's kind of natural. You go left to right. So Coach mentioned dealing with a little bit of an injury here, summer and fall, but says you're going to be back this week, knock on wood. What is it going to be like for you senior year, back at home, hopefully back on that field on Friday night?
I remember during our game against Chaska and seeing everyone there again for the first time in like 2 years, it was really disappointing for me not to be out there and be with the team and not suited up. So I'm just going to bring a lot of energy this Friday, and I'm going to be really excited to be out there with my boys.
Brock, what are you looking forward to? I know you've had one home game already, but home game here against Apple Valley, a team that you beat last year. It's going to be fun on Friday. What do you think?
Yeah, we're coming in thinking it's going to be the same like last year. They really haven't changed much offensively, just going to come in, win the game,
We've seen you on both sides of the ball now, third year on varsity for you. You're kind of like the elder statesman of the varsity group. What is it like to be a guy with that much seniority on the team?
Yeah, there's only like a couple of us, 2 or 3. It's different, just you seeing the younger guys not know as much, like seeing them go through plays and the steps you took as it was when I was younger, and it's pretty cool.
We'll talk about offensively, running back wise, 2 very different backs. Are you kind of the thunder, and then Aiden is more that lightning, would you say?
You could call it what you want. Yeah, it's a good 1-2 punch, It's really hard to tackle 2 different kinds of people, Just the ways you have to tackle them is different, and that's hard to switch back and forth to.
Quee, just talk about what you're hoping to do in your first game back. Have you set any kind of goals for the game or for your position group, or what are you looking forward to on Friday?
We'll first stay healthy, get through the game completely fine.
There you go.
And as a whole O-line unit, they're big up front, but they're slow, and I think our strengths are speed, so we just got to get off the ball fast and get as much penetration through the line as we can to open holes for Brock and Nathan.
And when you talk about opening holes do you have to scheme it a little bit different when Brock's got the ball versus Aiden from an offensive line group? Maybe open up a little bit more of a gap for number 33 over here?
No, because Brock is just going to put his shoulder down no matter what. And, and Aiden can just get through any size hole. So, yeah.
Brock, you're on the D line too. Coach mentioned you had a little bit of position change.
Yeah.
What has it been like for you to be on that D line and contribute here this year?
You know, it's like day one. You know, moving positions, a lot of learning every day, something new all the time, messing up, but I think I'm doing a good job. I like it. It's fun.
Last year, you guys were able to beat Apple Valley. Shutout, in fact. How about this year? What, obviously, that would be the ultimate goal, right? To hold them to 0, you'd have a pretty good chance of winning the game, I would think, right?
Yeah, that's the plan. I mean, they're coming back, same running back, so they're like a 95% run team, so
be a challenge.
We're gonna come with some new things and just see what we can do.
We'll ask you, both of you this. I've been pretty much asking all the seniors here, both Jefferson and Kennedy, this. But, Kui, you're back on campus at Jefferson full-time to start your senior year. The seniors last year, they didn't get that full experience. Just talk about how grateful you are and to have that quote-unquote normal year here to close out your high school career.
Yeah, I'm really grateful that our student section is back, because playing games just dead silent was not fun.
Kind of like looking up, where's the crowd noise? They just made a big tackle.
Yeah. So I just like seeing everybody back to normal with their daily routines and everything. So yeah.
How about you, Brock?
Yeah, it's really different. The hallways going back, just filled, thinking, it's not as easy as clicking on a link to see a teacher, but it's fun seeing everyone's half faces and stuff like that.
Well, guys, we're looking forward to seeing you back at home again on Friday. Best of luck against Apple Valley, okay?
Thank you.
All right, coming up next, Where Are They Now segment. We'll have 94 Jefferson football captain Mike Wagner on the other side of this break when Inside Jefferson Football continues.
We will never fully understand what we've asked of you, of your families, or your children. Asking you to deploy, patrol, stay on watch, on point. Asking you to put yourself in harm's way, to endure it all. But we do understand that it's our turn, our duty, to bring you all the way home, to keep you secure, to have your back for the rest of your life. Wounded Warrior Project long-term support programs do whatever it takes to help our most severely ill or injured veterans live independently, at no cost, for life, so that they might stand at ease. Find out how you can help at findwwp.org.
Back on Inside Jefferson Football, the Jaguars back home this Friday. They take on Apple Valley. 7 o'clock start. We'll have it for you on BEC-TV, or better yet, head on out to Bloomington Stadium and cheer on the Jaguars. Well, time for the Where Are They Now segment. 1994 team captain and 95 grad, Mike Wagner. Mike, I appreciate the time.
Oh, thanks for having me.
So, talking to Coach Carlson off air, he said that, and I'll talk to Coach Shea about it on Friday, he's doing color for the game, said he thought you were one of the best team captains in Jefferson history. Hearing those words, your thoughts on those accolades?
I mean, that's extremely humbling and flattering. I have a lot of respect for both those guys and that whole coaching staff. So when I hear that, yeah, that just brings me back to a pretty special time in my life.
And a pretty special team, one of the best teams in Jefferson history, particularly that senior year when you were the captain all the way to the state semifinals. In fact, before 2014, that was the last time Jefferson had been to the state tournament. What is it like to be a team? Do you realize it in the moment, hey, I'm a captain of one of the best teams that we've ever had here? Or is that something that you more reflect back on now that it's been a few years since that time?
I've had plenty of time to reflect, but when I think about those days, I think we were living in the moment. We got off to a tough start. We were 1-2, and then we went on a 9-game winning streak. And I think every game we kept winning, we got more momentum, everyone got more confident, we were together as a unit, and we just started to beat some pretty impressive teams at the end, like Eden Prairie, Cretin, Apple Valley. They were all top 5 at that time. So that was a special run that we made.
Yeah, that Eden Prairie win, what a landmark win it was. Some dramatics. You beat Mike Grant's team just as the Eden Prairie was kind of coming up to be the power that they really still are now. Just when you look back on that whole year, what are some of the moments that really stand out that when you think back, those pop into your mind right away now?
Sure. I mean, we lost to them in the opening of that season, I believe by just under a touchdown. So we knew we could hang with them. They were undefeated. But as we worked our way through the section and we got that massive win, I think the biggest memory I have then is we got to be at home for the state quarterfinals. So we had undefeated Cretin coming into our house because that was the neutral site. So it's pretty special to have our home fans. I remember people were lining up along the fence lines. Every seat was taken. And then we stomped them pretty good in the quarterfinals to go on to the Metrodome. So.
Talk about growing up in the city of Bloomington, Mike. When did you start playing football? What do you remember about growing up as a youth? And really what led that team to come together and be such a close unit after all those years of playing football together?
Yeah, I was a late start. I was a 7th grader to be a first-timer, so I didn't go through the ranks of BAA or anything like that, but a lot of the guys on our team did. It was a great place to grow up. I still have a lot of ties to Bloomington. But that team, that senior class in particular, we weren't a big unit, but we just played together. It was just a lot of good players that cared a lot about each other. And so I think that's how we excelled. We didn't have the big name players, maybe from like the class before, but we all just played so well together. Everybody was so passionate, and we had an awesome coaching staff at the time too. So. Well,
the segment, we call it Where Are They Now? So Mike, people want to know what you've been up to. I know you're still living here locally in the Twin Cities, but walk us through what you've been up to after high school and now the family that you have you're helping raise right now.
Sure. I live in Woodbury. Married just shy of 16 years. I have a 12-year-old son, a 10-year-old daughter, and a 7-year-old daughter. So we're kind of running around with early sports and activities. But no, we're very fortunate to still be around Minnesota. And again, I still have a lot of roots in Bloomington. Actually just took my son to Highland Golf Course to show him where I grew up not too long ago. And so it's been a good ride.
Yeah, I remember I grew up on that course too, playing golf, and I know they had shut it down for a year. It's great to see that is back open and operational too. But have you thought about getting the kid? You mentioned the sports. What sports are they into? Have you talked about maybe your son following in the football footsteps?
We have. He is a 7th grader, but he's into basketball and golf.
Okay.
Football though is one you can pick up a little later. So I'm still anxious to see if he shows some enthusiasm. He played a little flag football, but we'll have to wait and see. And the daughters are into volleyball and gymnastics and all those good things, but we'll see. I hope so.
What advice would you give to this current football team? You met a couple of the players here backstage, but as a former captain, when you look back on it now, what would you tell some of the current and maybe even future Jaguar football players about some words of wisdom for their high school days?
Yeah. Just live in that moment, because when you reflect back, it's a really special time. I mean, my run there, although a long time ago, I still have lots of friends from that era. We talk all the time and we still reminisce. It's just a special time, so make sure you take advantage and kind of live in that moment. Met the 2 guys out that you just interviewed. Great group of guys, strong kids, and looks like they're doing us proud at Jefferson.
All right, Mike, we appreciate the time. Continued good luck with your family out in Woodbury. Hope to see you at a Jaguar game here soon.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, that's 94 team captain Mike Wagner on the Where Are They Now segment. Coming up next, we'll wrap up the show as the head coach Tim Carlson stops by to preview the Apple Valley game on Friday night.
I am so proud that I served my country. I can't imagine not having Wounded Warrior Project in my life. We need Wounded Warrior Project to help us in our ongoing recovery. My family learned that they weren't in this by themselves. Wounded Warrior Project definitely saves lives. I am living proof that this organization works.
Back on Inside Jefferson football, the Jaguars will take on the Apple Valley Eagles on Friday night. We'll have it for you on BEC-TV, or better yet, head on out to the stadium and cheer on the Jaguars as they look to defeat Apple Valley for the second straight year. The head coach back to talk about that game. First, Coach, we've seen the Wounded Warrior Project promos. Nothing new to the Jaguar football program, but for some of the new viewers who are jumping on this year, I always want to give you a chance to say a few words about this unbelievably worthy cause that you help support.
Yeah, this is just kind of our program's community service focus, and this is our 12th year, and through all sorts of different ways, from selling T-shirts at school, we pass the buck at games. We have now raised a little over $32,000 in our first 11 years, and it's something we are very proud of at school. And again, it's big picture stuff for these kids. We play a game. You know, and I get frustrated and losses and so on and mistakes and whatever, but in the end it's a game. And we have people who have sacrificed so much for us, for me, to be able to go out, hang out with these kids and play this game. And this is just one week that we decided, hey, we're going to give back a little bit. And super proud of our families that have been, our business partners, Forklifts of Minnesota, the Augustine Brothers you've met, North Star Tavern, Freeway Forward, and many, many others that have donated to help us out, and we really appreciate it because you're right, it's a great cause, and it's just a little bit that we can do to give back.
And speaking of Warriors, I know we're going to get to this, we'll get to the game here in a moment, but given last Saturday, 20th anniversary of 9/11, I saw the Burnett family. They were honored at the halftime of the Gopher game. They've been all over the news media, of course, former Jaguar quarterback Tom Burnett, part of Flight 93. Just a time to reflect back for myself, and I know for you and the team too, to remember what he helped do for our country that day.
Yeah, it's you probably know, we go to the Rock, that memorial put by his classmates at school. A lot of people don't know that the two pine trees there represent the two towers. One's on the north end, one's on the kind of the south. But as we met by the Rock before the game, it was really cool because some of Tom's classmates were there remulching. They paint the bench once a year. They could do that, and then the next day they kind of get together, and there's a memorial service that Saturday night. But it was a chance for us to explain Tom's role, Tom's leadership. There's a great story. I know I'm going to go on too long, but he was at Normandy with his dad looking at the graveyard of American soldiers, and he told his dad, he goes, wow, I can't. He goes, I would have never had the courage to do something that they did on D-Day. And his dad says, you know, he did. And it's cool. And again, it's big picture stuff. And we're lucky. We're lucky what we get to do.
It's great to see that the family, you got to see the kids on TV, yeah, and just a lot of great exposure for what he and so many others did 20 years ago. Hard to believe it's been that long.
It's amazing. I told the kids the thing that amazes me the most from that day, and still to this day, all 20 years, is you see all these people fleeing the buildings, crossing the Brooklyn Bridge, except those groups going in. The police, the EMTs, the firefighters, they're going in. Mm-hmm. And it's for one simple reason, it was their job. And that's one thing I've told our kids. I don't know if I could have done that. I don't know if I could have done that. So it just amazes me, knowing that you could do that, knowing that you probably aren't going to come out. And that's, to this day, it's just amazing to me, and I appreciate all the work that they do.
Really quickly, Coach, we've got about a minute.
Yeah.
Apple Valley.
Apple Valley.
Keys for you guys to come out with a win on.
Stop the run. We got to stop the run. Again, we did a pretty good job last year. We made them go to the field last year, and when you have their running game, that makes it more difficult to score. We have to do the same thing, which means our special teams have to be better than they were a week ago. We got better in some areas. It's nice to have kicker Luke Swanson back with us now, but we have to win the turnover battle, make them go the field. I think we'll be able to do some things running and throwing offensively, but we have to make them go to the field, tackle better, and stop that run.
All right, Coach. Enjoy the conversation. Can't wait to catch up with you guys on Friday night, and hopefully it's a W in a few days from now.
I'm betting on it. I got money on this one.
All right. That's the head coach, Tim Carlson. Again, the Jaguars take on Apple Valley. Friday night, you can watch it live on BEC-TV, or better yet, head on out to Bloomington Stadium and cheer on the Jaguars. That'll wrap up this edition of Inside Jefferson Football. For our entire crew, this is Josh Powers saying good night from our studios.